welcome to another video, or if this is your first video of mine, hey, how you doing? Today, I'm basically showing you how terrible I am at reading. By that, I mean, as you can tell from the title of the video and whatever the thumbnail ends up being, I'm gonna show you, or tell you, or whatever, every single series that I am currently in the process of reading. Now, this might be I've only got one book left, this might be I've only read one book, it might be I'm slam in the middle, but there are 19 of them in total. 13 of them I'm at a point where I could read the next one. It's out, I just haven't. And the other 6 of them, currently the next one in the series isn't out, so I can't continue yet. But there's still a series that I'm reading. So I'll just take you down a trip of every series I'm in the process of reading. I'm gonna just do this like along my shelves, so this could potentially end up being in alphabetical order. Please don't judge me. I know you're all gonna judge me anyway, but it's just the way I read. I'm terrible. I am a terrible person. I never really read like one book in a series right after another one. I tend to like break it up and then I end up being in the middle of 19. Anyway, let's just get cracking, shall we? First up is The Bear and the Nightingale. I read this past February, and really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was my first 5-star read of the year, so you would assume I'd go straight into the sequel because I've got it. But no, I haven't yet, and I don't know why. I am an idiot sandwich. I love this book, and I can imagine I'm gonna love this one. I just haven't got to it yet, but I have it. I have good intentions. The next one is Frostblood by Ellie Blake. I read this, God, last year sometime, before the sequel was out, and I pre-ordered the sequel. I was all like, yeah, I love it, gonna get the next one, good job. And then I got the next one, and it had this annoying thing where it's like, look at that size difference. It drives me absolutely mental. And I don't know if that was what has just put me off from reading this. Like, it's too big. Give me a standard paperback. This is far too large. And I just haven't read it yet. I still want to be honest. I can't remember an awful lot from this now, but I still want to read this. I just haven't. But again, I own it. I have good intentions, just haven't got there quite yet. Following on from that, we have Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. I read this one ages ago, and I started this one in November. I've still got my bookmark in there. I got to page 76 and just couldn't be bothered. I think I might be calling this series like a DNF. Technically I am still in the middle of it, like physically in the middle of a book, but I just have no interest to continue, so I might be classifying this one as a DNF. We'll see how it goes. And then following on from that, we have Illuminae. I read Illuminae like back when I first started my channel, and I thoroughly loved it. I loved it so much. It was so interesting. I've got a weird bookmark in there. I thought it was great. I got the sequel. This one wasn't so great for me. I've still got my bookmark in there. I got to page 132 and put it down and haven't picked it up since. I don't know if it's because I read it so quickly after reading this one and it just felt the same. Like, it was the same story with different characters and I didn't care because I missed the old characters. Maybe now that it's been a while I should give this another go, especially with the third one coming out, because you'll know me, I'll probably end up buying it. So maybe I should give this one another go, but as it stands at the minute, I DNF'd Gemina and I'm still in the middle of the series. And then we have Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I didn't love this book as much as everyone else did, I don't think. It got to like, here is where it picked up for me, and that much of it I was bored for. This was obviously the book for the quarterly club's first quarter, and I know that other people really loved it and I struggled. However, that ending did make me want to read the next one, so I do intend to, but I need to wait until God's Grave comes out in paperback before I do that, because obviously I've got this one in paperback. So I'll wait for that one in paperback and see how it goes. But technically, in the middle of the series there. Then we have Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. This is another one where I need to wait for the next book to be out in the paperback, because I've got this one in the paperback and Daughter of the Siren Queen is out but in hardback, so I will have to wait for the paperback of that one. But I enjoyed this and I look forward to eventually reading the next one. I just need to wait for it to be paperback before I buy it. Then we have possibly the one that I feel the guiltiest about on this list, because I have honestly been reading this for years, and I still haven't finished it, and that is the Lorien Legacy series by Pittacus Law. I read the first 4 of them and I haven't read any of the others. I own them all. I do own all of them. We'll see. We'll see when I get around to reading the rest of them, but this is a bad one. This is one I feel really guilty about, because I read this first book like 11 times and I haven't finished the series, so I need to do that at some point. Technically next would then be a Game of Thrones series, Song of Ice and Fire, because I read the first one and I got about 200 pages through the second one and stopped, but I am classifying that as a DNF. At this point in my life I don't see myself reading them, so I'm not going to include them because I don't plan to continue. Next up we then have the Throne of Glass series. I've read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight and Heir of Fire, so Queen of Shadows should be next on my list. This series is one that unfortunately just doesn't grip me, which is a shame because it's Sarah J Maas and I love A Court of Thorns and Roses series, so there's that. This one just hasn't done it for me the way that that did. I don't find myself desperate to know. Like, ultimately I'm not fussed that I'm not reading this. Like, it doesn't bother me too much. I don't know. I know that I did say that Heir of Fire is where it picked up, and Heir of Fire was a lot better than Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, but I still ultimately don't mind not reading it. I'm not fussed. I mean, I do own them all, so I will at some point. It's just not a priority for me at the minute. Next up is Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rash. Again, I read this first one ages ago, way back when like I first started my channel, and I really enjoyed this first one. It was great. Oh, it's so floppy. It was great. And then I saw some really bad things about the second, well, not really bad, it was just that the second one was a letdown compared to the first one, nowhere near as good and just dragged. And I haven't picked it up since because I'm scared of it. Because it's a lot lengthier, like you can see it's a lot lengthier, and to hear bad things about it, like, I'm just not sure I'm ready to make that commitment yet. I will finish it though. I do own all 3 of them, so I do plan to read them. It's just whenever I pluck up the courage to get to this one. That then leads us over to the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. I read this one sort of mid last year sometime. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was a good children's book. It was decent. I do own the rest of them and I do plan to read them. But again, it's just not a priority for me. There are other books I would rather get to, and when I'm feeling a light, quick, funny read, I will reach for them. But not a great priority for me, and I'm not too fussed about when I get to them. That then leads us over to Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. I have read the first 3 now. I'm making very, very slow progress with these. I'm just not into Harry Potter the way that everyone else is. This is my first read of them. I'm doing it on audiobook because physically reading them was like gouging out my eyeballs. I'm just not into it. I don't think it's that good. Like, the books, I don't think, I know the first 3 are like proper children's books, and people say that after there is where it picks up, so with Goblet of Fire is where it gets more adult, which is where I'm up to now. I have just started listening to the Goblet of Fire on audiobook, literally, like, I'm only 20 minutes into it or something. So we'll see where I go with this one, but it's such a massively unpopular opinion, I know, but I just don't really care for it. And also, people saying that the reason I don't like the first 3 is because they're children's books. Honestly, I like middle grade books. There are a lot of middle grade books on my shelves that I like. Harry Potter's just not one of them. I feel really unpopular whenever I talk about Harry Potter. Here we are. Next up would be the Monsters of Verity duology. I have read this Savage Song and then I lent it out to a friend like a year ago and she hasn't given it back to me. And I haven't read this one, but I want to give this Savage Song a reread before I go into this one. I want to read this desperately because it's Victoria Schwab and Victoria Schwab is my queen, but I don't want to go into it forgetting the last one, and because I read the last one such a long time ago, I need it back to read it so that I can read this one. This is one that nags at my brain because it's Victoria Schwab, and I love Victoria Schwab, and I remember loving the first book, I just don't remember a lot of it, so I want to reread it before I read this one. But as I say, my friend's had it for like a year and hasn't given it back. I don't even think she's read it. They are all of the series I'm currently in the middle of that I have the resources to continue with. We've then got, as I said, 6 others that I don't have the resources to continue with, so I'll just fly through those as well. The first one would be the Spellslinger Shadow Black series. Charmcaster comes out pretty soon, but it's not out yet, so I can't continue, but I am eager to do so because I love these books a lot. But yeah, I just can't read the next one if it's not out yet. Then we have Even the Darkest Stars by Heather Fawcett. I was shocked by how much I love this book and how I'm still not over it. I read this like November? Somewhen late last year, and I still think about it and love it and how much I need the next one. But it's not out yet, so I can't read it yet, but when it is out and in my hands, I say this now, I probably won't, same as I have with all these other series, I can't wait to devour the second one of this because I love this, and this is partially what sparked the love for polar fantasy in me. Then we also have Raw by Cora Carmack. Again, this is one that shocked me with how much I loved it. Not quite as much as Even the Darkest Stars, but I did really enjoy it. And the next one I believe comes out in June, so I'm excited for that as well. And can't wait to get my hands on it, but for now I can't progress with this series because this is the only one that is out. Similar situation with The Last Namsara. This is the first in the series and the rest of them aren't out, but this book was one of my favourite books of last year and I cannot wait for the sequel of this. I hope that when I get my hands on the sequel it is one that I immediately devour because this book was incredible. I loved it. Aquawar. Aquafast is coming out soon, so there's that. I'm not as excited about Aquafast as I thought I would have been, but I'll read it when I get it, but obviously it's not out just yet. And finally, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This was an incredible book, one I thoroughly enjoyed from last year, and I can't wait to get my hands on the second one when it comes out. The ending of this left me craving the next one, but I have to wait, same as everyone else. But I am excited for the next one in this as well. So that is the last series, or the last book in a series that I'm currently in the middle of. There are some I haven't mentioned for reasons or another. For example, I still own the Mortal Instruments series, but I have no desire to continue with those at all. I read the first 3, don't care to continue. I do own them. I'm still kind of in 2 minds about whether I should just get rid of them because I don't think I'm ever going to read them. But then like everyone loves them and it makes me think I should give them another go, but I just really don't know. I do also have the Infernal Devices series up there, but I haven't even started that, so that doesn't count. What else haven't I included? The Name of the Wind. I haven't finished the first book, but I suppose I'm still technically in the middle of it, but I'm still in the middle of the first book, so there's that. And The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye. I'm reading the first book in that series currently at the point of filming this, so I am technically in the middle of the series, but I haven't finished the book yet. In fact, I've only just started it. But that just proves how trash I am. All of these series that I'm in the middle of, and what do? Start a new one. I am the worst. Also, there are a ton of other series on my shelves that I haven't even started, so there are books that I know there are sequels to and stuff. The Bone Witch, for example, is up there, and I know that the sequel to that comes out sometime soon. What else have I got up here? I've got Nixia here that I know there's a sequel to, but I haven't read the first one yet. Similarly, next to it I've got Falling Kingdoms, which obviously is a big series, but I haven't even started it yet. Oh, I've got Six of Crows up there that I haven't started yet. Poison Study, I actually own the entire series and haven't started the first one yet. Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Len Taylor. I'm really excited for that one, but I just haven't read it yet, so I don't know. Anyway, I'm just emphasising how terrible I am. And yeah, so I'm not really sure what the point of this was, but maybe this will help you not feel quite so bad if you are the same as me and are in the middle of nearly 20 series. Holy Jesus. Nearly 20 series I'm in the middle of. I am awful. But I'm not, because I'm doing things the way that I want to do things and I'm enjoying my reading, so that is what matters. But there we go. That's this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a thumbs up. Chat to me down in the comments about these series. Tell me about the series you're in the middle of. I know I don't need any more, but if you've got any recommendations, honestly, just throw them at me. I'm trash, obviously. And yeah, that's that. If you aren't subscribed and fancy subscribing, I'm always eternally grateful for that. I upload every Sunday and Wednesday and some odd days in between if I'm feeling generous. And I will see you next time. Bye!